Welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the main card fights for UFC 254, Khabib versus Gaethje. So without further ado, let's get to our first fight on the main card. So in our first fight, we have in the light heavyweight division, Magomed Ankalaev versus Cutelaba for like the third time. They only fought once, but it's been scheduled so many times. But let me just get this out of the way. I'm not even predicting this fight on this channel right here. I mean, I'm not on this, not on this channel, but on this, in this video, because I've already predicted it so many times. And my prediction for this fight has not changed. So I already won Ankalaev via second round TKO in this one. I think every single time. The first fight, the reschedule, I just predicted to happen the same way the first fight, except actually getting the finish. But yeah, if you want to see me predict this fight, I'm going to put a link in the description. I'm going to put a tag up top. But yeah, I already said Ankalaev via second round TKO. And like, I'm not gonna, if this fight falls out again, like I said, it's been happening so many times, I don't feel like predicting it like every single video. I just made one single fight prediction, so I don't have to keep jumping back to that fight. But yeah, on to the next fight. Now to our next fight we have in the middleweight division, Jacob Malkoun versus Phil Hawes. So in this fight you got Malkoun versus Phil Hawes. This is a good fight in the middleweight division, or could be a good fight in the middleweight division. Malkoun is kind of low on experience. Phil Hawes has his ups and downs. Look at Malkoun, decent striking. He kind of has a style that favors, well not favors, but he kind of like, you know, a fighter that doesn't have the most experience. So they kind of stick heavily to the fundamentals. Not amazing speed, not amazing athleticism. But his credentials on, I mean, his striking is like pretty textbook. Nothing amazing, but he tries to stick to like the basics, and the basics can take you pretty far, or at least get you to the dance. And then he has some solid grappling as well. But going against Phil Hawes wrestling should be able to shut down Malkoun's takedowns on the ground. As far as from what I see from Malkoun, I have not been all too impressed. He has a decent grappling background, but as far as in the MMA, he hasn't looking all the best, and he hasn't fought the best competition. So I feel like Phil Hawes could take him down, not worry too much about being in his guard. And on the feet, I think Malkoun's technically, as far as like defensively, he's a little bit more sound than Phil Hawes as far as expenditure and like cardio management, and like I said, just pretty much managing his energy and managing his power and his exertion. I think a little bit better than Phil Hawes. But other than that, Phil Hawes is more explosive, more powerful, much faster. And really, I think the only way Malkoun could possibly win is the one. Stay more composed, maybe catch Phil Hawes with a counter, or maybe try to wear him down. But for the most part, I think Phil Hawes is going to be too fast, too explosive, too experienced. And Malkoun just inexperienced. Now, I don't think he really transitioned his grappling the best to MMA just yet. So I feel like Phil Hawes can just take him down and control him. And I seen him get taken down at least once or twice in some of his fights against not the best competition and not against wrestlers. So he's giving them takedowns to those guys. Phil Hawes can get takedowns. I'm not saying easily, but should have a good chance of probably getting like a 60%, at least a 60% average on his takedowns offense in this one. So highly likelihood that he'll get some takedowns, beat him to the punch, land big shots. I think Malkoun makes it to the decision basically due to his grappling and his guard. But I think Phil Hawes is going to be landing the bigger, heavier shots, which is going to be reflecting on the judges, or, swaying the judges, or scoring more heavily by landing the more significant shots, landing the heavier shots, in with his takedowns and his control. So in this fight, I have Phil Hawes via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the heavyweight division, Alexander Volkov versus Walt Harris. So this fight right here, we got Volkov versus Walt Harris. So yeah. Volkov will be 6'7" versus Walt Harris will be 6'3", like around 6'3", 6'4". So the height will be on the Volkov side, the reach will be on Volkov's side, but the explosiveness and the power will be on Harris' side. And this is a very interesting match. We got pretty much a volume sharpshooter type fighter like Volkov, not the heaviest hands, but can definitely put up the volume or catch you clean with that one sharp shot, or that good combination and put you out. But he's not a guy that's gonna be that one hit quitter, unless maybe it was like a head kick. But outside of that, his punches aren't like one shot kill and never have been, and probably never will be. But yeah, him versus Walt Harris, who is definitely an explosive fighter. And as you look at his resume, he's more of a first round fighter. If he doesn't finish you in the first round, 9 times out of 10 he'll lose, or probably 10 times out of 10. I even think he lost the Arlovsky fight. Some people say, "Oh, I feel like he clearly won the Arlovsky fight, or clearly won this," but I don't know. I don't think if you watch MMA or you watch stuff, I think you could clearly see that he lost that fight to Arlovsky, but they gave it to him. And then it was turned into a no contest because I think Walt Harris tested positive for like marijuana or something. By the way, you can look, the stats reflect that Andre Arlovski outstruck him by like, what, 30 strikes or something? It was some significant clip that he outstruck him by. And it was in like every single round. It was a single round that Walt Harris outstruck Arlovski. And he didn't land no big shot. Arlovski was never rocked. Arlovski was never really clipped. I don't think he landed a big shot against Arlovski. And really, Arlovski was an Arlovski fight, or at least an Arlovski at this age where he's more of a point fighter at times, unless he could find the finish. But yeah, either way, it was like a fight where it favored Arlovski, and Arlovski did outstrike him. So it was clear that Arlovski beat him. By the way, what I'm trying to go with is that Walt Harris has historically not looked the best out of one round. Some people saying that he's in better shape now, so he should look better out of one round. But until I see it, I'm not going to predict, he looked in better shape now. Now he's going to look good for 2 and 3 rounds. But he has not. And even his fight with Overeem, he looked good early on in that first round. But second round, he looked mediocre. And on the ground, he looked mediocre once again. Not to try to take anything away from Alex Overeem, but Walt Harris still showed his flaws. Like, he didn't look good after that first round. He had Overeem hurt. Once he couldn't finish him that first time, he lost all opportunities. And then on the ground, he looked like a fish out of water, just like he looked all the years ago when he lost to Werdum. Werdum took him down and submitted him with ease like he was some amateur off the street. So his grappling still was very questionable, and you can't really trust him outside the first round. So how I see this fight, I just see Volkov, even though Volkov got some questionable boxing and boxing defense, I just trust Volkov to use his reach and use his height to kind of keep Harris at bay, using his legs, using his teeps, and like pretty much trying to keep Walt Harris at distance. Walt Harris will be dangerous early. Like I said, Volkov keep his hand low, kind of chin kind of high, and Walt Harris can come over top and crack him and try to put him out early and have a good, very, very good shot to put him out early. But I don't see Walt Harris having a very good shot after that first round. So I could see Volkov, like I said, weathering an early barrage from Harris and not really letting Harris land too clean. If you let him land too clean, he's going to be out sleep. But I think he'll at least keep him from landing like his full flush heavy shot, like his big haymakers, like I said, kind of roll with the shots early, keep him at distance, keep him behind the teeth, keep him behind the jab. So like Walt Harris shots don't have as much steam on them when they're landing in that first round. But still a scary first round. But after that first round, really to see Volkov just peppering up Harris and putting up the volume, and Harris just fatigued. And then like after like that first round, and Volkov just carrying it through 3 rounds. The second and third is picking apart a weathered Harris to a decision. So in this fight, I got Alexander Volkov via decision. Now to our co-main event, we have in the middleweight division, Robert Whittaker versus Jared Cannonier. So we got the former middleweight champion, the former middleweight king, and Robert Whittaker trying to get back to the title and trying to win his belt back. And this is the last fight in his way, or presumably last fight in his way. He did get destroyed clearly and dominantly by Israel Adesanya, so maybe 2 fights isn't enough. And if another contender comes out of the woodworks, then they'll probably jump ahead of them. But for right now, it's seeming like this is a number 1 contender fight, and whoever wins this will get a shot at Israel Adesanya. But we'll see. It's looking more like a number 1 contender fight for Cannonier, but for Whittaker, like I said, given how he lost to Israel Adesanya, he might need 1 or 2 more fights after this, but we'll see. So Whittaker versus Cannonier for the number 1 contender spot. So look at this fight right here. It's an interesting style matchup. I think Whittaker is the more well-rounded fighter. I think he's I wouldn't say more technical fighter, but he definitely brings more tools grappling-wise. I think Cannonier's grappling hasn't looked all the best, but definitely underrated. He's not like a guy that just doesn't have any grappling, just a knockout artist. He's a guy that definitely understands grappling defensively and offensively. He's able to hold his own, not hold his own, but Hermanson was pretty much able to shut down a lot of what Hermanson was trying to do. Hermanson had his back, Hermanson had this and all that. And Hermanson really couldn't get nothing going. He was able to but he was able to basically prevent Hermanson from getting to where he wants to get in a lot of these positions when he had him on the ground. Prevent Hermanson from getting submissions, prevent Hermanson from getting hooks in. Like I said, he pretty much, like I said, has good awareness. And coming from MMA Lab, you got a lot of high-level grapplers there, so you can see that showcase and how he was able to defend against Hermanson, who's a high-level grappler. And Hermanson, usually when he gets you to the ground, unless you're like a BJJ black belt or something, or not even, unless you're just like a really high-level grappler, he's going to finish you when he gets to the ground. So the fact that Cannonier was able to not neutralize, but able to, like I said, handle himself in that situation and stay calm and composed to get back to his feet, and then pick apart Hermansson on the feet and look for that big shot, or look for that read when Hermansson ducks in looking for a takedown. This shows like he is calm and composed out there. He's confident in all areas. So, he might not, like I said, if I were to say who's the better grappler, I would say Whittaker. And that's not even like as far as just a individual factor. Oh, this is such a big factor. I mean, it's a decent factor, but all I'm saying, like, Whittaker is the better grappler, but Cannonier is no slouch in grappling is what I'm trying to say. Offensively or defensively, and most importantly, this one defensively. We've seen in a lot of his fights outside the light heavyweight division where he got taken down by like Jan Blachowicz and Glover Teixeira, and they just kind of grinded it to decisions against him in their fights at points. Especially Glover Teixeira. Glover Teixeira is really round by round taking down and control. Whereas Blachowicz, I think, was like one takedown. By the time was just picking him apart. Well, not picking him apart at the feet, but like just using his distance, using his footwork, and pretty much staying away from his power, kind of darting in and darting out. But yeah, either way I'm going with that is that at middleweight, Cannonier is a stronger fighter. He's the heavier fighter. A lot of times these guys might get takedowns on him, but they can't really hold him down, and they spend more energy taking him down. So I've seen in this fight, Whittaker has cardio, and Whittaker does this. I don't think Whittaker's wrestling is all that great. I think he might be able to get a takedown, but I don't think he can hold him down. And I don't see him having the most successful takedown either. I might see him get like one quick takedown, but it's going to be a takedown where he has like zero control and kind of get back to speed. So I feel like point-wise, it could be smart for Whittaker, but if he tries to go anything more than just like a quick takedown or smart control type fight, like they said, like trying to exhaust himself, trying to hold on to Cannonier. So really, I just feel like quick and just for points, or if it really presents a good opportunity where he can kind of like stall on the guard for a bit, type of takedown where you get a takedown that is so perfect that you fall right into that guard. But other than that, anything trying to really use your strength or energy to hold Cannonier down is kind of a waste in my opinion. Like, so point wise, that would be the smartest thing for Whittaker, but like trying to hold on to something, just not it. But I've been kind of talking for a minute on this one, but how I really see what this Whittaker versus Cannonier fight is. Whittaker's style, I think it still presents the same flaws. Anybody said he went back and changed things and he's more motivated now, and the only reason he did this and the only reason that happened was because he wasn't training like he was, and now he's back more motivated. But I really don't see anything all that different about Whittaker. His mind might be a little bit more sharp, or he might be a little bit more into it, but his style has not changed. He's a fighter like a hybrid type of karate striker, got a decent jab, like, some stuff that a lot of karate fighters don't really have. But he still has that style where it relies heavily on his movement, heavily on his legs to get him out of the way of punches. He never really has his hands up. He kind of keeps his chin up a little bit of time, jumps in and jumps out, just with this big hit. A big hook, and it comes with a kick on the other side, or comes in with a big jab and the hook on the other side. Some comes in with these blitz. Some comes with these teeps, coming out with these little knee kicks. But really, a lot of his shots are like either 1-2s, a blitz, or like single jumping in shots. So he kind of fights like a karate fighter. A lot of these karate fighters just jump in and jump out. And you could defend their shot. They usually have the other hand down. Like they're open for a counter. But it all relies on them catching you off guard. So they be so off guard or so off angle that they can't even react to catch you. But if you can catch you could react to them. Their hand and like time them. Their hand will be down for that counter every single time. It's just the fact that they're so fast, so good at timing that, and they're so springy that they could either react fast enough to get out of the distance with their legs, or they, like I said, they catch you off guard to the point that you can't even react fast enough to catch them. But it's still the same thing. Like, that's why he got caught by Romero in like at least the second fight several times. That's why he got caught by Adesanya by the hook, because like I said, he's literally jumping in, like put himself in attacking range. And when you're jumping in like that, you're open for a counter, and the counter is going to be even more effective, or the punch or whatever strike you get hit with when you're jumping in is going to be more effective because you're jumping in and all your momentum is coming forward. So you're going to get hurt even more when you get countered. Like, it's going to have more like your momentum versus their momentum. Like, it's crashing together. It's going to end in a very bad way for you if you were like I said, if you get caught in time, like he did against Adesanya, like he got caught by Romero. Literally, Romero's style was to shell up against Whittaker and wait for him to make a mistake or make him come in a little bit slower, or his timing to be off a little bit, wait for him to, like I said, have that little lapse and catch him. And I think that's kind of what Jared Cannonier is going to do. Jared Cannonier is going to attack the legs of Whittaker. I think he'll be able to, at least be able to handle Whittaker's takedown and grappling, be able to stall or get back to his feet and stay composed, looking for that big shot, attack Whittaker's leg. Like I said, with these karate fighters, their legs are their wills, their defense, and their everything. So he's going to attack, as we've seen against Hermanson, as we've seen against Silva. Cannonier does have some heavy legs. I feel like he's going to attack the legs of Whittaker. I think Whittaker's going to be looking for takedowns off those kicks, but Cannonier's going to be able to get back to his feet, constantly attack the legs, take away those wills, take away some of Whittaker's spring, take away some of his movement. And like really just wait for Whittaker to come in, hands down, try and swing a hook or a jab, either come over the top or block the hook, then come with his own hook, and really wait for, like I said, attack the springs and catch and counter. That's what I see Cannonier doing. And when after Whittaker springs a little bit off, he tries to do his little same jumping in moments, and it's kind of a little bit off, or like a little bit limpish, or a little bit less of spring off, like any little bit of a margin off. Now to start seeing Cannonier finding his time and catching that hook, blocking, and coming with his own hooks, dropping Whittaker, and then finishing him off in that second round. So in this fight, I got Jared Cannonier via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in our main event in the lightweight division for the undisputed lightweight title, Khabib Nurmagomedov, the champion, versus Justin Gaethje, the interim champion and contender. So let's look at this fight right here. This is a very good matchup right here. And this is one I've been looking forward to for a good minute. Because when Gaethje first came to UFC, or even before the UFC, I like, this is a guy that can definitely pose a big threat to Khabib if he can get to the belt. Like, he poses a big threat to Khabib, but he's not a guy like where he is such a wrestler that, offensive wrestler that he is not like, this so much, or at least his route to the title or his path to Khabib won't be the easiest, because like, he'll have to strike with strikers. And that's where the issue was. Like, he saw with Dustin Poirier and Eddie Alvarez. That's where his issue was. Like, for Khabib, he does not have to strike with strikers, whereas Gaethje, his style makes him have to strike with strikers. Because I don't think he has trained his wrestling or kept up with his wrestling enough, or his style, as far as what got him to the dancing, with he's been accustomed to in MMA, the style where it's definitely a heavier striking style. Where he fights with his wrestling and defense more than offense. At least as far as not his early career in MMA, but as far as most of his career until now, until presently and beyond, has been more of a striking offense with a defensive wrestling. So he had to strike with strikers, whereas Khabib doesn't. So that made his path a little bit, like, a lot harder than Khabib's. But as far as going against Khabib, the fact that he has that wrestling and defensively and at the level that he wrestled and still maintains to a extent, makes it interesting. If he could stuff Khabib, I think he'll be able to stuff. He's the first wrestler that Khabib has ever really faced, like the first real deal wrestler, and the best wrestler that Khabib has ever faced. And I'm gonna say this is the first wrestler that Khabib has faced. I'm just gonna say that's gonna be my stance on this. Is the first real wrestler Khabib has ever faced, a guy that can for real stuff Khabib's takedowns consistently in this fight and scramble and get back to his feet and force Khabib into a striking matchup. And I'm not saying like Khabib is just a one-dimensional fighter. He's not. But you would say who has shown you far more, has done like far more on the feet, it's been Gaethje. And I would say, without hesitation, that Gaethje is the better fighter. If this fight is just a pure striking match, Gaethje is knocking Khabib out. That's flat point, period. If it's a straight striking match, Gaethje is knocking Khabib lights out. That's what happens. They strike, pure striking match, in my opinion. But like I said, this is an MMA fight, and that opens up opportunity. The fact is that Khabib, even though that Gaethje can defend a takedown and scramble and get back to his feet, or as far as what I'm saying, he can do those things. The fact that Khabib, if he can get Gaethje to react to the takedown, then that opens up striking exchange. I mean, striking opportunities for Khabib, like that little dip down uppercut. If Gaethje starts to sprawl too hard or starts to react too much, or his hands start to drop a little bit, and he can get his knees to bend a little bit, react to a takedown, or his level to change a little bit just to his reacting to takedown, then he could dip down, catch him with uppercuts. And that's Khabib's best shot. That's his best punch. That's the punch that he's hurt so many people with. That's the punch that he's gonna buzz people with. And that's his dip down uppercut, or dip down ugly leaping fist to the face. So yeah, that's been his thing. Dip down uppercut or leaping fist to the face. It's not even an uppercut. Like, he could literally smack you with his wrist almost. But either way, he got an uppercut and he got a little wrist smack where he smack you on the tip of your chin with his wrist. By the way, what makes it interesting is the fact that Gaethje's ability to sprawl, his ability to scramble, his pedigree of wrestling, and to be able to keep this fight on the feet. And then the fact that he's fearless and he's going to press Khabib. He's not a guy that's going to be all letting Khabib push him to the cage. Or, matter of fact, not even push him, just walk him to the cage because you're so scared of his takedown. He's going to know very well not to, or he's going to, in fact, well, really, his style is he's going to push Khabib back. That's what he's going to do. And Khabib's takedowns aren't as good when he's on his back foot, as we've seen in several fights, with the Johnson fight, with the McGregor fight, and other fights. Like when he's pushed on the back foot, he'll shoot from a farther distance. His shot will be a little bit sloppy, and you'll be able to defend. I think he even shot a far shot against Poirier at one point. By the way, when he's backpedaling or he's not on the front foot, he's not the bully. His takedown offense drops significantly, and you're able to sprawl and stuff it. So if somebody like Michael Johnson can stuff it, then definitely Gaethje can stuff it if he keeps him on the back foot and he keeps him working or keeps him reacting to his punches. So keeping on the back foot is a big key in beating Khabib on the feet and really beating Khabib in general. Keep him on the back foot, like I said, that takes away some of the effectiveness, like a good portion of his effectiveness as far as his takedown offense. In a big portion of the game, he doesn't really have any punches going backwards. His takedown offense drops significantly. And that's what Gaethje's gonna do. He's gonna put him on the back foot, land heavy shots. And he's not going to be afraid to throw shots because he's not scared of nobody. He's not fearful out there. That doesn't mean that Khabib still can't have success or Khabib not going to be out of the fight just because somebody's not scared of him. Khabib's still a great fighter regardless if somebody's scared of him or not. But I think that's a big factor, putting him on the back foot, landing big shots, making him react to you instead of reacting to him. So when he's on the back foot, his takedowns aren't as effective. He doesn't have really many shots going backward, especially not no shots with no power. And like I said, put him in areas he's never been before, and hit him like he's never been hit before, and hit him more than he's ever been hit before. And whether you can say, oh, in training camp he did this, but it's a big difference from a training camp and in a fight. You could be in wars all you want in training camp, but a war and a real fight is a much different thing. It definitely helps, but it's definitely no comparison to the actual thing. So I see this fight is to get to my kind of conclusion on this one and to the prediction on this one. Khabib, amazing fighter. Best lightweight of all time in UFC, MMA, in my opinion. But I'm going to lean to Gaethje on this one. How I see this fight is that Gaethje, like I said, Gaethje's going to put Khabib on the back foot. Gaethje's going to make Khabib have to, pretty much put Khabib in an area he's never been before in his career. He's going to be able to stuff his takedowns and neutralize them. I'm not saying he's going to shut all Khabib's takedowns down. I think Khabib will get takedowns, but I don't think Khabib is going to ever really be able to hold Gaethje down for more than 10 seconds. I think most of the takedowns if he do get any takedowns, well, I think he will get like 2 to 3 takedowns, but most of those takedowns I think would probably be quick, Gaethje scramble, get back to his feet, or sprawl and get back to his feet. More like that. If he sprawled, he would have defended, but pretty much scramble, get back to his feet. Stuff most of the takedowns, and the takedowns that do have, and most of them he's going to scramble and get back to his feet, or hit a wizard and get back to his feet, or hit a roll and get back to his feet. Maybe the most longest one probably be 10 seconds. I think more so than anything, he might get some cage control time, but outside of that, his takedown's going to be very little, or have very little control time to them. Then they're going to defeat. Gaethje's going to constantly keep going backwards, landing combinations, forcing Khabib to shoot from far out, defending the takedown, then they start landing shots up top, then start digging some leg kicks into Khabib's leg, make Khabib limp a little bit, make Khabib's shots even less effective, take away some of that drive off his takedowns, take away some of that range of motion out of that lead leg, and maybe force Khabib to switch stance, which will really hinder his takedown offense just when he dig into the leg. So just stuffing the takedown, digging the leg, pushing Khabib back, landing shots over the top, landing shots to the body, sticking a jab on Khabib, swelling his eye, dazing him, chewing his leg up. Like I said, I think Khabib will have success in this fight, but really I think it's going to be a Gaethje fight where Gaethje just really picks apart or tags up Khabib more than he's ever been and put him in like a kind of a war situation that he's not ready for. He hasn't experienced inside the cage. And now at this point in his career, it's going to maybe be a little, well, I'm not going to say a little bit late, not even the fact, even if he did it, wasn't war, I think really it's going to just come down to the fact that Gaethje's going to be able to neutralize his grappling for the most part, keep it as a striking matchup, put him on the back foot, land those big shots consistently, mix it up high and low, and not be afraid to, fight his full offense like a lot of these other guys because they're so worried about his wrestling. I don't think Gaethje's going to be so worried about his wrestling that he's going to stop throwing kicks or stop throwing things. I'm not saying he's going to go out there and throw blind kicks, but he's going to mix the kicks in well so that Khabib doesn't get easy takedowns. And if Khabib does read a kick and catch it, he's going to roll and get back to his feet and then continue to go back and press. And Khabib might say, oh, his gas tank is this and his gas tank is that, but Gaethje has never shown a bad gas tank in his career. he's been tagged in the wars and like weathered from actually taking punches. You know, in your fight, you get punched. It's a difference from cardio when you're really getting worn out because you're taking these big shots to the body, big shots to the head. It's a big difference. But all that being said, when he's actually like a warrior, you never really see him like tired. It's been like weathered through punches, but not actual tired. And I don't think Gaethje, I mean, it's going to be a wrestling thing that's going to tire him or this and that. But either way, it was we seen with the Tony Ferguson fight. He came in on short notice and he fought for, 5 rounds basically, throwing haymakers every single round, all round long, trying to knock Tony Ferguson's head out the whole fight. And he still had energy even after TKO and Tony Ferguson. So and it was on short notice. He came in on short notice. So he can do that for 5 rounds. So his cardio is a no question for me. It's not a question for me. Like I said, defend the takedown, push Khabib back, mix it up, don't be afraid, tag him, and put him in a situation he's never been in before. I think once Khabib starts not to be arresting his wrestling or against the cage or be able to get his takedown and control, I think his cardio will start to dip. Because when you're not the bully, you're not really able to get to your same comfortability, then your cardio starts dropping. He's so used to being comfortable in fights, so when he's not comfortable, I think he's going to start to doubt himself. His cardio going to start to dip because he's going to start when he start to think, he start to breathe heavily, start to hyperventilate a little bit. And then your cardio, you could be in the best shape in the world, but when you're not in your comfort zone, you're not comfortable, you start to think too much and you get tired. And I think that's going to be a situation, especially when you're taking big shots like Gaethje's going to put on Khabib. So he's going to stuff the takedown, wear Khabib down, put him in a situation he's never been in before. Khabib's going to start to doubt himself. He's going to start to think. He's going to start to fatigue from the punches and from the overthinking and from the panic. Start to breathe heavily, start to limp. And then Gaethje's going to go into kill mode and put him away in that 3rd round. So in this fight, I got Justin Gaethje via 3rd round TKO. And that concludes my fight predictions for the main card of UFC 254, Khabib versus Gaethje. And as always, thanks for watching.